Hey guys, what's up? So the update on official server is finally here. Let's do a quick summary on what happened in this patch. First one is the new rule, where you can sell an item at its original price in the first 15 seconds of the game. As you can see, the price is still the same. This can be used when 2 or more players buy roaming boots at the start. You can sell the boots and then buy a new one without the roam effect. Next is Paquito. His basic attacks will no longer build stacks, but his skills can, even though it doesn't hit a target. They also reduce the stacks from 4 down to 3, and using his ultimate will only give 1 stack. Longer cooldown for his second skill, but in exchange, they increase its attack scaling. So I guess Paquito players will have to practice again to learn his new combos. Next is Sun. The developers think he is summoning clones too frequently, so they had to increase his first skill cooldown. They also made his clones weak in the early game and stronger at late game. His bug is also fixed, where he summons 2 clones when using first skill. Overall, this is a nerf for the Monkey King. Next is the nerf on Harley. The new damage calculation gave Harley too much damage, so they'll nerf his passive skill. They lowered the maximum stacks of his passive from 15 down to 10. Is this enough to put Leslie's little brother out of the ban section? Next is Tigreal. They shortened the range of his first skill. It's a tiny adjustment, so no worries for Tigreal mains. Next is the nerf on X.Borg. Weaker damage of his first skill in the early game, but remains the same when the skill is leveled up. And since War Axe is also nerfed, is it the end of X.Borg core? Or is this nothing but a scratch for this cyborg? Next is the buff on Balmond. They shortened the cooldown of his second and ultimate skill. That -1 second cooldown on his second skill is a big buff for Mr. Ads. Time to spam him in ranked games. Next is the nerf on Benedetta. Lower base HP and physical defense for this agile assassin. Next is the nerf on Lunox. They lowered the conversion of cooldown to magic penetration and defense. I think this is just fair because of the new negative armor. Next is the buff on Phoveus. Shorter cooldown on his first skill and higher damage of his ultimate. He's going to be a lot more annoying in this update. Next is the bug fix on Bane. He will no longer lose the cooldown reduction he gets from attack stats when he dies. The newly revamped Castle Master skin is here. Next is the nerf on Yve. They lower the shield she gets when using her ultimate. The immobilized duration is now shorter by 0.2 seconds. Next is the buff on Zhask. His ultimate will now get 500 more HP. Next is the adjustment on Mathilda. They increase her passive skill damage. Her skill 1 is also adjusted by increasing its damage but lower damage decay ratio. Next is the buff on Minotaur. Increased rage when hitting non-hero units with skills. Charging his ultimate will also generate 10% more rage points. Next is Popol and Kupa. The developers want him to be played as a marksman instead of support, so they'll make some adjustments. Higher HP for Popol but lower for Kupa. His second skill will now generate more shield, but its knockup duration is shortened. The cooldown of his traps is now longer by 4 seconds on all levels. Next is Karina. They lower the damage of her passive skill, but increase her second. The movement speed boost from her first skill is now fixed at 45% on all levels. This is a buff in her early game potential. Next is the nerf on Gloo. Lower heal per second when using his ultimate split. Next is the adjustment on Luo Yi. They lower the early game damage of her passive but increase its late game. And her ultimate will now have longer range in the early levels. Next are the item changes. Lower attack stats for the roaming skill and courage. Favor roam skill will only activate when there's a hero to heal. If their HP is full, the effect will not trigger. War Axe attack stats is lower by 10 points. The stacks are also adjusted by increasing their physical attack but lowering the penetration. And when it's used by marksmen, mages, and support, the stack effects is now 33% instead of 50%. It means long-range classes will have weaker effects when using War Axe. Malefic Roar's penetration is lowered by 5%, plus 5 magic power for Shadow Twin Blades. Lower debuff stats for the magic item Genius Wand. Divine Glaive's penetration is lowered by 5%. The damage reduction on Radiant Armor is lowered by 1 point, but its HP is increased by 50 points. Higher damage when triggering Twilight Armor's unique passive. They also fixed the bug where the effects of Dominance Ice, Ice Queen Wand, and Anti-Cuirass are disabled when you buy them when you're dead. Turret Shift is now available. You can see the tower's HP even if you don't have full view. Last are the schedule of different arcade modes. Ravage is from July 30 to August 1. Shadow Brawl is from August 6 to 8. Death Battle is from August 13 to 15. Ravage comes back on August 20 to 22. And the new game mode, Nathan's War, will be available on July 23 to July 26. It's going to be a 5 vs 5 game where everyone is using Nathan. So what can you say about this official server update? Are your heroes affected? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.